Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Mike Favetta along with Cara DeFalco. With the election season gaining momentum, a New Jersey representative, Mikie Sherrill, called upon President Biden to drop out of the race.
As a Democrat from New Jersey District 12, Sherrill made this announcement on Tuesday after a meeting with other House Democrats, mentioning that, quote, the stakes are too high and the threat too real to stay silent. She urged Biden to find a new Democratic nominee to replace him this election season.
And Representative Andy Kim, a Democrat from Moorestown, who is a Democratic nominee for the Senate, also mentioned his concerns about Biden's ability to win this election. He noted that dismissing would not be right. While Kim has not made an official statement, he is open to discussions about replacing Biden.
And while Sherrill and fellow House Democrats endorse this opinion, Biden's campaign officials have noted that he is remaining in the race because, quote, the voters have spoken clearly and decisively.
And during the official meeting of House Democrats on Tuesday morning, just a handful of raised concerns about Biden's age over ability to win over former President Donald Trump. But Mikie Sherrill has officially withdrawn her support for Biden. So I guess there's a little bit more of the fallout after the debate. We were both, I was off, I was on vacation, didn't really catch the debate, but you couldn't escape the headlines even from my destination, because it was a pretty big news event.
Yeah, it was. And, it's the quote from the Biden campaign, and this has come up in conversations I've had with people about this. We've done primaries already. So people have voted, and I do think for the DNC to come in and say, well, that was nice of you, but we're actually going to do something else, because we didn't like these 90 minutes of TV, it is disenfranchising to the people, I think.
Certainly.
Yes. And if they wanted to hold a separate special primary election, that would be something different. But at this point, I think especially in these times, to overturn an election in that way, I mean, because that's what it was. It was a primary election.
Yeah.
What does that say to your voters?
I think there's a lot of decisions being made at high levels that kind of make you scratch your head, like, isn't it supposed to be democracy?
Yes.
So that is just one of them. But
that's just one.
It really throws a wrench into kind of the status quo of what we'd expect, at least past presidential elections, to look like, at least in the primary stance.
Yeah, it's definitely it's interesting, and we always look forward to having Laura Jones come back and fill us in with her insight as well. And you can always catch that right here on New Jersey, Laura Jones, NJ Politics with Laura Jones, because she always knows exactly what's going on. Where
Yep.
Mike and I are just kind of cursory looking at these things with the rest of you. But it's going to be interesting for sure. All right. More locally, Jersey City officials have recently announced a desire to strike down a proposal to widen and expand the New Jersey Turnpike.
Although the New Jersey Turnpike Authority released an environmental impact review 2 months ago, Jersey City Mayor and gubernatorial candidate Stephen Fulop expressed his belief that the review was inadequate. Fulop and other leaders are urging for an independent study by the U.S. Coast Guard.
Now, the proposal itself is a $10.7 billion project that would widen 8 miles of the turnpike from Newark Bay to the Holland Tunnel. Fulop and other leaders believe this expansion will exacerbate car pollution and traffic. Instead, they have called to use that money for infrastructure repairs.
The project's cost has also increased as the plan developed and inflation and interest rates rose, growing from its original $4.7 billion projection. While the New Jersey Turnpike Authority's assessment claimed that traffic will decrease and lead to no meaningful differences in air pollution, quote, Fulop and others disagree, claiming that this statement only evaluates the first phase of the proposal. So there's a lot of points to consider here, because the pollution aspect was one of the points that canceled or delayed indefinitely, whatever you want to call it, the congestion pricing in the city. So whoever's doing these environmental studies, I guess maybe not completely, thoroughly looking at all impacts, seems to be the going point of contention.
Argument,
to put things on pause, yeah.
Absolutely. That was a part of my own commute for many years when I worked in the city, and you could use a few more lanes along that stretch. much. So, it's just, I feel like, and especially in this area, this part of the country, we're constantly running into this point of contention of, we built these things with one use in mind, and we have grown so much that they are no longer capable of handling the number of people, cars, whatever you may have that are now using them. And it's like, well, do we build another roadway? Do we widen this one? And how do we do it in a way that doesn't impact the environment and the people who live nearby? And this is, we're the most densely populated state in the nation. I mean, we're going to start running into things.
But Jersey City, it dramatically increased its population by adding the light rail system. No new lanes of highway were added in those years during that big population boom downtown. So I could see there's more of an urge for the public transit route versus adding more lanes of highway.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Another interesting summer headline, as we are well into the summer season, New Jersey residents now face the threat of another virus.
Yes, dengue has reached the state of New Jersey with 41 residents testing positive for the virus. You can contract the virus through the bite of an Aedes mosquito, which is also known as, also known to spread Zika, West Nile, and chikungunya.
Yeah, so the CDC has reported that in a single year, around 400 million people will catch the dengue virus. Around 100 million people will get sick after they are infected. And approximately 40,000 people will die from a severe infection.
In early July, all New Jersey residents who tested positive for a form of dengue received it from traveling. So no cases were contracted from local sources or areas. However, Bergen County had the highest number of cases with 8 residents sick from the virus, and Somerset County had 5 cases.
So symptoms of dengue include fever, nausea, vomiting, rash, aches, and pain. And the CDC reports that 1 in 20 can contract a severe form of dengue, causing shock, internal bleeding, and possibly death. If you are experiencing any of those symptoms, please call your doctor or go to the emergency room. This is something that we've seen, in the past. I remember, the Zika some time ago. We hear about these things, and it is most of the time it comes from folks traveling abroad, and it comes back.
Yeah, but the fact that certain mosquitoes are now testing positive for West Nile in certain counties in New Jersey kind of brings you some pause, because that's not really supposed to happen here. However, it's felt so tropical all the way up the East Coast. We'll talk more about that later on with the weather forecast later today. You'll see that there's just been this surge of tropical moisture and heat and humidity that seems to be plaguing New Jersey. And you walk outside in the middle of the day in the bright sunlight, and my dog are getting attacked by mosquitoes when they're typically not supposed to be active, because the weather has been so favorable over the last few weeks.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Unusually warm, hot, and humid conditions that, make it feel quite tropical.
And it has. All right, Mikey, we'll talk more about that tropical weather in just a little bit, but coming up, NJ is offering a free summer concert, and we'll talk with the performers next.